How you doing today? You okay?
Yeah,
Good.
we're
How are
doing
you?
good.
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. It's very hot over here in England, even at 6 o'clock at night. It's absolutely roasting. So,
Thank you for joining us.
oh no, thank you guys for taking the time to speak with me. I just wanted to say first off, say Alex, big fan of your work, especially in Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Oh, thank
as
you.
Sewn On. Awesome performance, love that. And Zeno, big congrats on your anime award win last year.
Thank you.
I'm actually on the judging panel, and I voted for you. So there you
Awesome.
Great.
go. Guys, congratulations on the film. I've watched it a couple of times now and had so much fun, especially with your characters, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, two new androids for the franchise, joining a list of incredible android characters throughout the franchise. So how was it for both of you not only to voice two new androids in a long list of, as I said, awesome characters, but also mainly to join the illustrious Dragon Ball family?
Well, for both of us, we both grew up with Dragon Ball, so it's been basically ingrained in our DNA ever since before we were born.
Right.
So definitely, it was a daunting task to be finally jump into this legendary franchise that has been around since before we were born.
Hmm.
But it's really exciting. It's incredible. And if you were to tell me like 10 years ago that there was going to be new Dragon Ball content, I would lose my mind. And then if you were to tell me that I would be in said new Dragon Ball content, I would explode on the spot.
Yeah.
So I'm having a wonderful time, and I'm so glad that we get to do this together
Hmm.
finally
I
in
know.
something. So this is a very special project for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, joining a franchise like this is always described as like a dream come true, honestly. And so like working on this and with all the talented people who like the people who originally helped put this together, like Chris Sabin and Raleigh Pickens, who we work with they're just incredible, and you can hear how much Chris loves this franchise, all the love he puts into it, and all the attention to detail, specifics. He'll rewrite a line if he thinks that it doesn't fit in the world. He lets kind of he and he I like that he let me breathe. He let me really hone in and get into the specifics of the work. um and so that was even more of like all these amazing things are happening. I grew up with this franchise, and I'm as the voice of Piccolo, and yeah, I'm working with him, and he's in my ear, and he's letting
Piccolo's
me
talking to me.
right. He's letting me act, and it's just a lot of it. We're just a lot of factors of a lot of like dream come true moments, like things just coming together in a really wonderful, divinely timed fashion.
Absolutely. And what I really loved about Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 is that they don't feel just like cut and paste villains. There was always the worry, there's always that worry going into an original story within an established franchise that the villains might feel the same as what you've seen before. But they felt very unique, and that's not just through your performance, but through the way they were written. They actually have individual characteristics and they have an arc, not going obviously into spoilers. Like Gamma 2 is very quirky and playful and a bit boisterous, and Gamma 1 is very calm and calculated. What was it exactly that drew both of you to your respective characters, and how did you prepare to put your own spin and your own personality into those characters?
Now, the interesting thing about this movie was that even tracing back to the audition process, we got to do something very unique, which is audition together,
Hmm.
and that really never happens. So, just speaking personally, as somebody who's portraying a more serious type character, for me, it's always harder to, especially in the audition process, to find out how you can play a character who's not saying too much. Gamma One is very careful with his words, and he's very calculated on what he'll do or say. So it's so hard to play a serious character and make it interesting and also stand out from the rest of the competition who are also auditioning.
Hmm.
And I think one of the greatest help that I got was that I knew that Zeno was going to be my partner, and Zeno and I are close friends. So I would text him and I'd be like, hey, can I listen to your audition? And he's like, no, I want to listen to yours. And I'm like, no, send me yours so I can play off of you. So it was great to have him there to play off of him. And even in the movie, Gamma 1 is somebody who reins Gamma 2's craziness in. So getting to hear Zeno gave me was a huge hint for what I was going to do, and it was a huge suggestion for how I was going to portray it, because we have to sit in a kind of a similar tone yet still be distinctive enough that we are two different people.
Yeah. I think kind of similar to what you said. Like, I think that one of the most things that stood out the most to me about Gamma 2 was how he was written. When going back to the audition process, immediately upon reading the first few audition lines, I was like kind of concerned this might not be Dragon Ball. I was like, I expected the Gammas to be a bit serious, a bit more stoic, as the pattern of Dragon Ball villains kind of, I've expected them to be very serious, and Gamma 2 was surprisingly playful and surprisingly boisterous, and it gave me a lot of room to play with. And I really grew to love his heart and the heart of the character, and his dedication to being a hero. And in my head, since I knew we were auditioning together, I already wanted to start pushing that in that direction, because I'm Aleks and I are close friends, but also peers in artistry. So I was already in my head going through Aleks's Rolodex of things that I know he's done, and being like, the voice is probably going to sound something closer to this, so I'm going to try to push it in that direction. And then all of the specifics he gave me when we recorded just helped me fine-tune it even more.
Would you say that either of your characters sort of share any similarities to you in any way? And if so, did that help you at any point along the journey in production?
Yeah, funny you say that, because I do feel like they are kind of a more hyper real or a extension of our true personalities. I'm a much more calm person than Zeno, so I feel like it's very fitting.
Yeah.
Even in a social situation, I'm much of an introvert, so I don't really put myself out there, and I'm also very I'm very short with my words. But Zeno is kind of the one who has this very lovable energy, and he has a very infectious sort of outlook on the world, and it really draws me out of my shell whenever we're hanging out together, but I feel like the movie takes our personality pushes it even further. Like Gamma 1 is even more serious than I am, more calculated, and Gamma 2 is even more
outgoing. Yeah, very much so. It's very reflective. I think it's so appropriate how me and Aleks are cast, because it literally is kind of like how we are to the max. Like, Aleks does ground me in a lot of ways, and does push me in a lot of ways, as an artist and as a human being. And I think with how grounded he is and his outlook on the world, and how how he can be, and I think around other people, especially around other people, I can become more outgoing and more personable and more out there, and Gamma 2 is that to 10, and Gamma 1 is that to 10. So
yeah, fantastic. So just a very quick question to wrap this up. It might be hard to sort of pinpoint this, but what would you say was your favorite moment in the booth for this project, without spoilers, of course, because there's a lot.
Yeah. Without spoilers, it's any time that we got to share any screen time together, because we recorded the movie together. So another rare process in anime. So we had the ability to just jump in and change anything on the spot, and just having that feedback loop, and it was such a driving force in how we were able to creatively put this thing together and craft it literally on the spot without having to delay anything,
especially when it comes to the specificity of the question, which is in the booth. Like, my favorite part of recording in the booth was being able to say, oh, because Aleks did that way, can I jump in and do it this way? And our director Chris Sabat being super game for it. And yeah, well, you guys are both here, might as as well, like
Yeah.
play. And so then once we were given the go to like be able to do that, like throughout the entirety of the others recording session, we'd be like, oh, because you did it that way, let me do it this way. Oh, you screamed that way, let me drop it here so it sounds more like. And so we were able to really fine tune a lot of the specifics of these two characters and really, really make them even more cohesive because we were able to record at the same time.
Fantastic. Guys, I've got to wrap there. But thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. You both did an incredible job, and I wish you all the best with the release of the film. And I hope I get to speak to you again in the future.
Thank you. You as well.
Time has come, I'm ready to go, venturing into the